Hello there, this is Teacher Wayne, and I'm just going to do a very quick overview of a basic game template that I've done for everyone to use. Basically, it's quite limited in its application, but let me show you what you've got, and then I'll go through the various assets. So as you can see, I've got a HUD, I've got a really simple health bar, I've got a title, I've got a zombie character that follows you around, and then if you get close enough you'll do an attack, and you notice my health bar goes down quite rapidly. Ooh, as it gets close my health bar goes down, and then I eventually die. You didn't see the attack animation, but it does, believe me, do a attack animation. Let me go through the scripts. So we have, let's go through the various bits and pieces. So I've got a player. The player is a really simple little basically a capsule, and in that capsule I've created what's known as a pivot point, which is basically just an empty underneath it, and then there's the main camera, and the main camera is actually what we're looking through. So it's the first person perspective of the main player, of the actual player, so you don't actually see this capsule. So when I press play, you're looking through this capsule. Also, I've got it so that you can go up and down and left and right like that quite easily. There's no jump with this particular script, but it's just a very basic terrain I set up as well. I press escape. So that's the player. The zombie, all he's got on him is the standard zombie asset that you get online, that I've shown in previous other videos. I've created the zombie controller, which I've gone for another various things. He's got 4 states. He's got an attack state, a walk state, an idle state, and a death state. I'm not looking at the death state in this particular video, but most of the time he's in the idle state or the walk state or attack state. Those are the 3 that I'm showing in there, and I'm accessing these 3 variables, which I'll go through shortly. So that's the zombie. Let's get again, and he's got a script which I'll go through shortly. And then I've also got a HUD. The HUD is what's actually a canvas. So you go right click, UI, canvas. I've used canvas, I've used text, which is the title, and I've just renamed it to title, and I've used an image. I've actually got 2 images. I've got a death bar image. Let me just go through the various bits. So there's a life one, and I've got it back to front at the moment, so let me just get it the right way around. So that's the right way around there. As you can see, I've positioned it in the top left here, and I've sort of positioned it. I've got 1 image on top of the other. The life bar is above this death bar. Basically just two identical images, but the death bar is just red. It doesn't do anything else. It's just a simple image. But the life bar, if you look, it's filled, and it has a fill amount of 1. And if you look here, this is what we're adjusting, this fill amount percentage here when we're taking damage, and it's 1 represents 100% alive, 0 represents 100% dead. So that's how we affect it. And I've got the red image underneath so that it's easy to say you've taken damage. And I've got a simple text called zombie game that I've set and adjusted accordingly. Right, so let me go back to the actual game. So I've got 4 scripts. Let's go through these scripts because I think these are the hard bits. I've got a canvas called HUD, I've got my zombie asset, I've got my game asset. So I've got 4 scripts. The HUD has got its own script, the zombie's got its own script, the player's got its own script. I've actually got 2 scripts. He's got one that moves him and the camera goes left and right, and another one that allows the camera to sort of move around in various different ways. So we just press it, so up and down and left and right. Let me just go through these various bits. So let's have a look through all these various scripts. So the player, first of all, the player script, I'll explain it as I go along. This business here is the HUD manager. That allows me to access this another script called HUD manager, so we can access this HUD here. The reason we're accessing that is to check to see if we're alive or dead, because the zombie is also accessing this, and this is how we take damage, and we're measuring our damage through this green health bar. Yeah, so I've got a serialized field, and if you look here, when I click on player, can you see on the script here it says HUD, because I've serialized it, it appears there, and the HUD manager, all I did was got the HUD and I just dragged and dropped it like that. Really simple. So it links it to it, so the player script is now linked to the HUD script. I've gone through all this in previous sort of stuff, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this for the basic template. But the basic thing is here is I've actually adding a bit of ammo for this for later ones, and adding gravity and stuff as well, which is not really relevant for what we need. But anyway, the bit that I want to particular focus on is this bit here. So that's what we had before. Now I've added this extra lines here. So basically I've got a function called getHealth in HUD, which I'll go through later. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're calling it, and if it's less than 0, in other words, if this bar here drops below 0, we are dead. It just logs it, and this here, because we're playing it through the Unity editor, it exits. If we actually create a game, that's why I've left that there, so that we can actually quit it. But that's the way we're going to end it. Really simple. Stops playing it and the player dies. And there's the left right. I'll just quickly show the other script, which is Lucky, which basically allows us to go up and down, which is this one here. I've put the other one in just for completeness, but we never access that one because that one is in player. Right, so that's the player script and the look up and down, left, right. Let's go through the HUD manager, because this is a new element itself. So as I said, there's a HUD manager here. This is a script. We want to access this image, this life bar, so we access it by using that there. And if I click on HUD, can you see you've got life image, so it accesses life bar. All I did was click there, because that's the one we want to access. We actually want to access this fill percentage here, so that we can go this business and take damage. So let's go back again. Now we're setting the health to 1 to begin with, and we're showing the health bar. So I've got 3 functions in HUD Manager. It doesn't have an update, if you notice, so it doesn't really do much to HUD Manager. It acts basically as a library of functions for player and AI behavior. So for the player, we want to show the health. It just simply displays it on displays that percentage there. This one here gets the health. It returns the health percentage. Now I've noticed in player, that's the one that we call there get health. Get health. So it returns what it is. So as it changes, the player knows what it is, and if it drops below 0, we're dead. And another one is set health. Now the set health is never going to be positive at this stage, though we can adjust this to sort of increase health. We're just getting it to decrease a little tiny bit. Now this variable here is 0.01. I can make it even less like that, and it will die a lot slower. I will play that in a minute just to show you how much slower, 10 times slower death. So it sets the health. Now let's look at the final script, which is the most important one, which is AI behavior. So we'll go up top again. We're doing serialized HUD manager because we want to access the HUD again. All this here we've used before. We've got the 3 states that this zombie can be in. If it's greater than 200, it goes into an idle state. If it's less than 2, it does an attack, and then also sets health. So in other words, the player gets damaged as well. So if the player is 2 or more less away, he will actually take 0.01 every time. But remember, this is constantly updating once every frame. So if the player spends 1,000 frames at less than 2 game units away, they will die. So you've got to be quite quick. It's the way it works for this particular thing. But the zombie is not moving, so the player needs to move away. And if it's less than 200, it goes into a walk thing. The only state where the player is taking damage is this one, set health. That's HUD set health. So it's accessing the HUD manager and it's accessing the set health function. That's all that means, really simply. And then there's the different states. We've got walking, attacking. I've put another one called public zombie dies, but we're not accessing that one yet. That's just for completeness. But these are the 3 states that you will see in this video: walk, attack, and they access the various managers. So if I press play, let's have a quick look. Here we go. Yes, much more gradual death now, and you actually get to see the animation now. Yeah, it's a lot, it seems a lot more sensible, that does. Right. Anyway, so that is a basic introduction to the next stage and evolution of this game. I'll just keep adding little bits and pieces to it. So anyway, this is Teacher Wayne saying thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye.